Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're reviewing the fourth game in the Skylanders series, Skylanders Trap Team. After Swap Force ran its course, it became the best-selling Skylanders game up to that point. And actually, it still is. But after the success of Skylanders Swap Force that year, other companies tried to jump onto the Toys to Life model, with Disney releasing Disney Infinity 2.0 that year, and a new contender, Amiibo. Consumers wouldn't stick to Skylanders for the Toys to Life model unless the next game was unique, had a lot of content, and was an overall improvement to the previous game they bought a year prior. Vicarious Visions made Swap Force, but the developers at Trap Team went back to Toys for Bob, which made Spyro's Adventure and Giants 2 years prior. From the game's initial start in development, it was also the hardest game for the team to create due to the time crunch put upon them. It was also the first game in the series that they had to start from the idea phase, because if you didn't know, Toys for Bob had Giants in development alongside Spyro's Adventure, or at least they had most of the ideas for it, and they even had the idea of mixing and matching your own Skylanders for Skylanders Swap Force. Due to this, the traps had to be thought up after the team finished Giants. There's a whole lot more, but if you want to look up some more on the game's development, look up some stuff on YouTube and check out the cutting room floor to see some unused content. And with that, the game came out on October 14th, 2014, releasing on the PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Wii U, Wii, and 3DS. Okay, I'm interested. And luckily for me, one of my New Year's resolutions was to play a dead game franchise from 2014 and 2022. But where can I find it? That'll do. Hello. Wait, I thought this was the address for GameSwap.
Downstairs. I welcome to GameSwap. Here to trade games to consumers. What interests you? Compare collection bins of games.
Oh, I already know what I'm interested in. I heard of this game called Skylanders Trap Team. I heard it's pretty good.
Hey, won't that mean you've already played it? Whatever, I'm not getting paid for this anyway. Each game has a trade value. Skylanders Trap Team costs 5 Wii U games.
Oh, what the hell?
Why do you have Wii U games in here? You know what, just take the game and get out.
Hey, thanks. I never know when it comes in handy. Good stuff. Okay, now I think we can talk more about the actual game. If you've been a part of this community, you've seen the glitches like falling through the floor, sequence events not occurring, and enemy gates not opening up. Since the planning phase of this game was much longer than all of the other games during their developments, this caused polishing the game and removing all the glitches to take a back seat, which is the main reason why this game is infamous for all of the bugs in the series. None of this has affected me yet, but it may on future playthroughs. Of course, the thing that made Skylanders unique was the collectible aspect of everything, seeing your collection grow over the months and years. We're gonna be using single pack prices and acting like Snapshot and every other star pack character for this game were not included in the star pack, and you had to pick them up like every other figure. With that being said, the $15 figures of this game were known as Trap Masters, and there were 20 total, 2 of each element. Traps to capture villains were $6 each, and there were 65 total, counting variants. There were 18 new core Skylanders and 5 returning reposes, which went for $10 each. There were 16 minifigures, which were baby versions of older characters that were sold in double packs only for $14. 2 level packs, which would add extra content to your game with new stages to add, were only sold in triple packs for $25. And finally, 8 Eons Elites, which were old characters from Spyro's Adventure with 3 times the base health and strength, which were sold for $30. Oh my god. I did not know how many figures there were to buy until reading this. I knew Trap Team was the most expensive of all the games, but this game would set you back a staggering $932 at the time, not including tax, which is absolutely absurd that Activision thought they could get away with this. This was one of the main turnoffs for many people for this game, and this is one of the main reasons why the series went on a decline. Even if the games succeeding this didn't have as much to buy, Trap Team left a sour taste in many consumers' mouth due to the overabundance of accessories and add-ons you could buy for this game. Although everything is a lot cheaper now, there still is a lot, and even people that are still playing this game series have almost entire complete sets of all of the other games, would still have a few missing from Trap Team. Since it's cheaper now, I bought some of the characters off Skylanders character list. Now I have almost all the elements, except for Magic, which I heard was the weakest of all the Trap Masters. Speaking of Trap Masters, in each game prior, they had elemental gates. Elemental gates would usually include a hat that would increase your character's strength. They were pretty cool, although it did feel like a way for the developers to give you a reason why you should get at least 8 characters. But at least for the other games, you could use Spyro's Adventure characters to open gates in Giants, and you could even use those characters to open gates in Swap Force, although you would need to use multiplayer for some of the gates due to dual gates being a thing in Swap Force. This meant all characters had similar value. It didn't make old characters useless compared to the new ones. In Trap Team, you wouldn't just need a Skylander of the same element, you would need a Trap Master of the same element. This was money hungry, but I kind of get it. They want to incentivize you to go out and get more characters, which Trap Team has one of my favorite rosters. We have Snapshot, Jawbreaker, and Crypt King. Jawbreaker is amazing simply due to his bomb path. You use your second attack, which is known as Rage Mode, and you increase your speed and damage for a short amount of time. But once you upgrade him fully, you can refill that entire meter by simply hitting an enemy. Reposes returned in this game, and was the last in this series to have the original character's moveset for returning characters. I only have one Repose for this game, which is the only Series 4 figure in the entire series, Tidal Wave Gilgrunt, which is my second favorite Repose. You hover in midair for a bit, you drop back down, and a giant water monster appears, and you can control it for a few seconds to do over 100 damage per hit. The characters could be fun to use, the gameplay could be fun, but now let's go check out the story. The game starts with Eon greeting us with the usual "Welcome to Skyland, a magical world of wonder and adventure. This land is protected by a group of heroes called Skylanders." Then Eon explains to us that there once was a group of villains called the Doom Raiders, which were fought and defeated by a trap team. The villains were trapped in somewhere called Cloud Clark Prison until Chaos destroys the prison, shooting Traptanium all across Skylands. It frees the Doom Raiders and is the reason why Trap Masters are now on Earth. Still does not explain how I have to pay for them though. Anyways, you now also have the traps, so whenever you reach a boss, it will give you a specific element to denote what trap you'll need to capturing it. By capturing it, you'll be able to play as that villain for a specific amount of time. I almost forgot to talk about the toys themselves. The Trap Masters are my second favorite to look at because they're about the same size as the Giants, and they all have clear weapons. The only thing holding them back from the Giants is that they don't glow up like the Giants. Alongside those figures came the traps, which were see-through, colorful items that would place into the new portal. Yes, the portal got a redesign, and it's undoubtedly the best version of it. It is the last one mandatory to get, because this one is the only one compatible with every single game in the series. I love how the base is see-through and gives off the feeling of Traptanium, while the ring around it glows. It gives it just such an amazing feeling, and it's so cool to look at, especially in the dark. And the most unique part about this portal is how the trap slot has a speaker, so whatever villain you have trapped inside there will talk back to you. Of course, if it's getting annoying, you can always turn off the portal volume in the settings, which I don't think is right for this game, especially for one section in particular that we'll get to later in the video. Continuing with the story, the characters see an explosion and then decide to go to Solar Springs to find out what's happening. You find 2 of the Doom Raiders, which you later trap. Callie suggests you go to Know-It-All Alliance to find out what's going on. It cuts to Chaos and the Doom Raiders in Chaos' base. They try getting Chaos kicked out, but the main villain of this game, Golden Queen, says that he should stay. You head to Chompy Mountain, where you defeat Chompy Mage. The story basically becomes a checklist where you basically are defeating all of the Doom Raiders. There's also a side plot of Chaos trying to betray the Doom Raiders. Then, after he gets betrayed by the Doom Raiders himself, he later joins the Skylanders and Skylanders Academy. Wolfgang, the undead Doom Raider, kidnaps Chaos to take him to Time Town because in order to time travel, you need a Portal Master. Then the next level takes place in the future where Wolfgang is planning to take over because there's no Chaos, Skylanders, or the Doom Raiders in this time period. You defeat Wolfgang and travel back in time where you go to the Sky Highlands. In the Sky Highlands, you track down Golden Queen's location because the ultimate weapon will be unleashed soon, which will turn everything to gold. Skylanders find out that Golden Queen is heading into Golden Desert, which seems pretty obvious and you could have put two and two together to figure that one out, but you find defeat her, only to find out with no surprise Chaos betrays the Skylanders and turns into Traptanium Chaos thanks to the power of Stinky Cheese. Yeah, that isn't even a joke. Chaos becomes an ultra powerful and the hardest boss fight in the series thanks to Stinky Cheese. Anyway, you defeat Chaos in Traptanium form, and the credits roll. What the hell happened there? Those 3 words I can best describe the ending. The rest of the story wasn't that big of a mess, because it was basically just a checklist story. Go here, fight this boss. Go here, fight this boss. But like the stuff at the end with Chaos or Golden Queen's location seemed like pretty obvious stuff, and the character interactions are the main reason why you want to listen to this story or not skip any cutscenes, especially with Flynn. I really enjoyed most of the characters and how they were portrayed. The most entertaining characters in any of the games are Flynn and Chaos. They always bounce off the characters so well. With NPCs, you need a hub world to talk to some of them. And in Trap Team, the devs introduced the Skylanders Academy, which is one of the best in the series, although some of the areas feel way too large considering the amount of stuff you can do in them. Like every other hub in the series, it will add more stuff as the game progresses. You can find secret areas to collect gold coins for your character, play Skystone Smash, a board game that is worse than the original Skystones, find the Rumble Club, which is just arena battles, and upgrade your characters, which have all been in games prior. But in this game, you have a rhythm game that I still don't understand how to get a perfect score on, and the Chaos Doom challenges, which is basically a take on tower defense games, and gets really challenging as the game goes on, with there being a set amount of waves per challenge, with the final challenge being a 20 wave gauntlet, with mini bosses being sent out like normal enemies. Trap Team easily has the best gameplay in the series. It basically feels like an improved version of Swap Force's gameplay with the jump, but now giving you extra mobility with mid-air attacks and allowing you to also not be completely defenseless while jumping. With the returning characters in this game, it didn't feel like it put you at a disadvantage when using them. Maybe some of the Swap Force characters it did, but every other character feels like it was equal to the Trap Masters, aside from the fact that the Trap Masters are the only ones able to open the elemental gates in this game, which I heard was a last-minute decision. On top of this, the game animations look amazing from both in-game and CGI cutscenes, getting a huge increase in quality. Not only that, but this game mixes the beautiful next-gen look of Skylanders Swap Force with the art style of Giants Inspires Adventure, which had the superior art style in my opinion. Alongside going back to the superior style, it also brought back some fan-favorite characters and villains. Most notably, it brought both Callie and Tessa back, so there's no characters that will fill the role of other characters in this game. And something that was fixed from Swap Force is that there's no NPCs that will talk to you for 5 minutes with unskippable dialogue. Talking to you, Rufus. That is one of the main things Trap Team did right, and why it's one of my favorites in this series. It combined both the Swap Force and Giant style and took almost all of the good from both, and removed unnecessary or annoying features. The main criticism most players had with Swap Force was the long length of the levels, with levels dragging on 20 to 30 minutes longer than they needed to be. Since there are dozens of new villains in this game, the levels can go on for around 10 minutes if you're not going for everything, but if you want to explore a level on your own, it could take around 20 to 30 minutes depending on the level's size. With the amount of villains in this game, the amount of levels increased, so the game is about the same length as Skylanders Swap Force. With this game, since there's more levels, you would expect them to be less unique than Swap Force's, but I think it's the other way around, because Swap Force had some pretty repetitive levels, some themes like Desert went on for too long, but with this game, almost all of the levels feel unique. Some of the memorable levels are Chompy Mountain, Phoenix Sanctuary, Sky Highlands, and the Ultimate Weapon. The Ultimate Weapon has Chaos talking to you through the portal in some cutscenes as the level progresses, and Phoenix Sanctuary looks absolutely beautiful on anything but the Wii. Some levels had good ideas but aren't good in execution, such as Rainfish Riviera and Monster Marsh. Both stages slow the pace down to a crawl, with Rainfish Riviera having a crane gimmick that lasts 5 years, and Monster Marsh having an NPC slowly follow you through the entire level, and if you go out of range, you'll take damage. Of course, since each level has several bosses, let's discuss the game's difficulty. Now, if you're playing through the main parts of the levels, it isn't bad, even on hard. Maybe even Nightmare. But when getting to the bosses, this goes from kid's first video game into... Why can Chaos regenerate almost all of his health this many times? What? This is the 3rd level. Why does it look like a bullet hell? Finally! That boss took 30 minutes off my life. Not only that, but this game has drained so much money out of so many people. How can I get rid of it while also getting money off of it? Okay, here's a flyer. The Skylanders Recycle Center helps you remove stupid plastic. Okay. Hello, is this the Skylanders Recycle Center?
Yeah, but weren't you the guy who...
Yeah, that's great and everything, but I want to get rid of all of these.
Okay, it's down the street. I was just taking a break at my house.
Can you take me now?
Fine.
Does anyone else work here or is it just you?
Just me.
Okay, well, can we hurry this up because I'm gonna go into debt by the end of this week.
You're not already in debt?
Okay, well, where do I put this?
Just put it anywhere.
Well, now that I got rid of all my Skylanders and basically my entire childhood, I can now start counting how many tracks I have left to talk about on Mario Kart Wii. Jesus Christ! Well, how about something else? It's still here. Wait, I got rid of all my figures. How can I talk about the final boss now? Okay, I need someone that will answer no matter what. Siri, how close is the fire department? Or, actually, never mind. I can call up a close friend. Hey Philip, can you bring your Skylanders? Is Stu okay? What do you mean you have a lunch? Okay, well, come over by 2. You got the Skylanders?
Yep.
Okay, back to the Chaos boss fight, I guess. The boss fight is infamous in the community for clearing people's entire bins of Skylanders, especially on Nightmare mode. In this fight, Chaos regenerates his health, not once, not twice, but 3 full times. And it takes about 10 minutes to knock him down to the next phase. The first phase was easy, a few projectiles, but there's still ways to heal your characters. You know what? This game isn't so bad. I wonder why I got rid of all my Skylanders.
To get more money, to clear up space since this room is cramped, and the fact that people call you complete moron because you can't manage your own money.
You know what? You know what? Never mind. Phase 2 cranks the difficulty up with twice the amount of projectiles, and you know what? Give him a pair of swords. Also, add new attacks with several different patterns, some being easy to dodge, while others taking your Skylander out within seconds if you fail a single jump. Finally, with Phase 3, the developers thought adding a few attacks would just be too simple, so they gave Chaos a pair of wings now for some reason, and he instantly moves from one attack to the other. So I feel real bad for some people who use Jawbreaker or Tree Rex on this boss fight, mainly because they're close range. And when I mean some people, I mean me. This boss fight was insanely difficult and surprisingly hard on my first playthrough, knocking out almost 30 of my Skylanders, mainly because both I wasn't expecting it, and my brain was shut off. Of course, who can forget the boss's lovely one-hit attack that does 9,999 damage. Yes, you heard that right, and that's the same amount of damage the Chaos Bullets do on Nightmare, which is the only additional attack Nightmare mode adds. The other bosses of each levels are still challenging, it's just that for some reason they made the Chaos boss fight 10 times harder than the actual rest of the game. And for some reason they decided to give each boss different attack patterns based on which difficulty you pick. It's a little weird, especially since they didn't try polishing the game, but it's whatever. After the fight and the credits roll, Chaos will talk to you personally as the names go by, and does several fourth wall breaks, even showing concept art of himself from Spyro's Adventure. You know, since getting rid of all my Skylanders, I wonder what the employee's up to.
Not what I meant by put him anywhere.
You wanna play Mario Kart?
I forgot you were still here. No, it's getting late.
Fine.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Where were we? Oh, right. To finish up the bosses, my personal favorites were Chompy Mage because it felt like a very difficult early game boss, Chef Pepperjack because the patterns felt fair and fun, but was also challenging, and Wolfgang was basically the limit of the difficulty before it felt unfair. Which is what happened to the Chaos boss fight. Overall, this game does have some fun moments. Am I starting to like this game again? No, that's impossible. I can't start liking it. It's overly greedy and poorly monetized. The figures take up way too much space. And the fact that this game has the most insane difficulty spikes I've ever witnessed in a game, going from too easy to too hard, just boggles my mind. I'm not playing this, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Stop, Nintendo nerd! Listen! I know how frustrated it made you before with how expensive this game is and how annoying the difficulty was, but despite its many flaws, Trap Team is often regarded as one of the best Skylanders games for good reasons. From its amazing level design, to its awesome character roster, to its creative gimmicks and unique mechanics, honestly, what's not to love about Trap Team? I remember back when the game was first announced, and it had one of the most epic reveal trailers I've ever seen. Right off the bat, not that bat, I could already tell that Wallop was my favorite new character the moment he was revealed. Heck, I even dressed up as him for Halloween. I made this back in 2014 when I first got the game, though that's not the only thing I did to celebrate Trap Team when it came out. Back in the day, I was one of the veteran SkyTubers who boarded the Trap Team hype train. While I wasn't the most popular SkyTuber, and my videos weren't exactly the highest quality back then, my old Skylanders related content was diverse to say the least, and you could tell my love and passion for Skylanders was there. Skylanders has been a huge part of my channel since the very beginning. It's one of my biggest inspirations as a content creator, and I don't think I'd be where I am now if it wasn't for Skylanders. I made quite a few videos during the Trap Team era, getting hyped up for the game and celebrating its release. I did some casual gameplay videos like many others did, though I also wanted to try new things and experiment with some rather unusual types of videos that not many people did at the time, to mixed results. I played the Scalatones minigame using a Guitar Hero guitar and Xbox drum set. I know the video quality is awful, but you get the idea here. I also did some Skylander shorts with plush toys, which included some rather edgy and juvenile crude humor. I made a Skylanders Trap Team rap song parody, which was very cringy. I even made a Five Nights at Freddy's parody video called Five Nights at Cloudcracker Prison, where I played the role as a security guard, watching cameras and making sure the Doom Raiders don't escape. And you could tell this was back when I barely knew how to edit, and before I knew how to use Photoshop instead of Microsoft Paint. But hey, as cringy as my old Trap Team videos were, I do think they hold a special nostalgia factor, much like the game itself does, and as a longtime dedicated member of the Skylanders community, I'm glad to have been a part of this journey with them every step of the way, even if some of those steps haven't aged well. I can say with 100% confidence that the Skylanders community is the best community I've ever been a part of, and am still a part of to this day. This is why you should stay. It isn't perfect, but it has done so much for me personally and millions of people, including you.
You know, a lot of people love Trap Team. A lot of people has it as their first favorite or second favorite game. Has it as my second favorite game of all time. And there's a big reason for that. It is the levels. I think it has some of the most consistent levels in the entire series. Has some really nice ones. I think all the expansion pack levels are basically hits. They're all really good. The level diversity as well. Like, you're basically never in the same place twice, which is awesome. You're never in the same place twice. You're always moving. Always a new place to go to. You know, whether it's like a new dimension like with Dreamcatcher, or like a monster marsh, or like Chaos's big fortress, you know, or the Lair of the Golden Queen. You're always doing something new, something fun. And yeah, I think the main reason why I love Trap Team so much is because of how great its level design is and how different each level is.
Hey guys, so the Nintendo Nerd invited me onto his channel to give my thoughts on Skylanders Trap Team. So I'm situated here on my wall of Skylanders, right in front of all my Trap Team characters. So basically, I'm going to be talking about why I like Skylanders Trap Team and why it is my second favorite Skylanders game. So first off, let's start by the excellent cast of characters that they introduced. I think that this is the strongest cast of characters that they introduced. It also is the most, because there are 2 Trap Masters of each element, 2 cores, 2 minis, and then occasionally there was a repose along the way. So it was by far the biggest cast of characters that they introduced. And second off, I want to talk about the game itself. So with the game, all of the levels have their own separate feel to them. There's none that really have like that same feel like in other games like Spyro's Adventure or Swap Force, how some of the levels have very, very similar feelings. All of the levels here are just diverse and completely different. Let's also talk about the characters introduced in the game. Mainly introduced were the villains. So the Doom Raiders were all introduced, with the exception of Chompy Mage, who we already knew about. Golden Queen, Wolfgang, the Gulper, Chef Pepperjack, all of these characters that were introduced just created such a better game and just a better story, because it wasn't just us fighting Chaos or one of his immediate relatives again. It was another character that we were fighting. Other than that, I just think that the gameplay is really crisp, and I mean, the game just looks really good. So that's why I love Skylanders Trap Team and why it is my second favorite Skylanders game.
Greetings, fellow Points Masters. I am Crash Rousel, and it's once again time to crash the Skylands with me talking about Trap Team. Now, a lot of people know that I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to Trap Team. I feel like the difficulty of the game was definitely something that I did not like about the game. I don't know why they randomly made the game harder than it needed to be. But Trap Team also gave me a bunch of things I enjoy, including my all-time favorite level of Operation Troll Rocket Steel, and some of my favorite Skylanders of all time, like Wildfire, Wall-Up, Flip Wreck, and basically every single core. I'm not even joking about that. I think I like every single core in that game. Just a couple of them are not as good as the others, but so one thing about Trap Team is that they gave us something completely new when it came to the entire franchise. Swap Force itself was great, but Trap Team gave us something insane. The fact you can take villains and trap them in a crystal and then use them yourself. That was really cool. And I love the fact that so many of the Skylanders, every single person who played this game, found their favorite Skylander in this game. I don't know a lot of people who don't like Skylanders from this game or don't have it as their favorites. Wildfire is literally my second favorite Skylander, and he's from Trap Team. Baby Boy Bash, you know, number one for sure. But that's the one thing I love about this game, is that Trap Team was kind of the game that kind of got a lot of people into Skylanders and kept them enjoying it. And it's the one game that a lot of people can go back and play because of how much was involved with it. And that's one of the reasons Trap Team is so popular, is because of the fact that everyone liked it. Now, of course, I can go on and on about the difficulty and how they made the hard mode extremely hard and made Nightmare literally a nightmare, but I do enjoy the game regardless. And I love the fact that it gave me one of my favorite Skylanders of all time with Dark Wildfire. Not just regular Wildfire, Dark.
You know what? He is right. I need to go back to the recycle center. This game and this series means way too much to me and to many others. Let's go.
What the? That was my net worth!
Okay, well, I got all my figures back, and this time, I am keeping them. No matter what happens with the series next, whether it be a mainline or a spin-off or nothing at all, this series has given me and so many others such good memories. And as a send-off to this series, thank you, Skylanders, for everything you've done. Now that I'm back into the series, I can finally continue building my collection. The game is genuinely one of my favorites I've ever played through. It has one of my favorite gimmicks. The Skylanders in this game were great. The difficulty of the game, while unfair at some points, was refreshingly challenging at other points, and it was so fun to just sit down and enjoy myself. And it feels so nostalgic, yet I've never played it before. To finish it up though, I had a lot of stupid stuff in this video I wanted to show just because I love this game series. This game felt like a completely new entry when I finally got to play it, and just left me smiling through the entire game. I think with all of this, I'm going to be able to play and talk about this game for months, if not years from now. Finally, I can wrap this up, but before I go, I want to thank Crash the Skylands, your favorite Canadian YouTuber, Skylanders Gamer TV, and William Edis for being a part of this video. And of course, your links will be in the description. It was so surreal having you guys on, and thank you so much for your work here. To keep this part short, only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed, so if you aren't already, please subscribe. It will help out a lot, because I've worked on this video for over 160 hours. This is the Nintendo Nerd, signing out. Peace.